Welcome to the Snorelord OG channel, where we don't just talk about trucking, we talk about whatever you want. We could talk about, I don't know, whatever you want. Open forum. I guess I should call this open forum, but I don't for some reason. I think it's kind of, YouTube's made it kind of like difficult to, not difficult, but they put some extra steps when you want to put in a title on a live feed now. So, but anyways, we got our morning coffee. There we go, and there's the notifications. So, so, and my wife sent me a text, so we'll see. All right. Let's see what else is going on here. Okay. Oh, there we go. Nobody's in here yet. It's just fine. That's okay. Why isn't the chat showing up on my end? That's weird. There it is. Mr. Wilson, how are you? Yeah, I turned it down. Okay, so Mr. Wilson, you want to see something cool? Check it out. Check out this knife. Right? This is a cold steel. This thing is ridiculous. I love it. I think you might get a kick out of that. I got this for like literally half the price. It was like what? It was a whatnot auction. Anyways, I think for the first couple of days I had it in my pocket. So open a package of meat. I was using this. I was using this on everything. So, but it's one of my ridiculous hobbies now. You love that? Yeah, cold steel, man. They were like, if you watch the show Forged in Fire, they were kind of the originators of that kind of extreme knife testing. And I imagine they stole or borrowed a lot of Lynn Thompson's ideas. So I've been reading up on it. But yeah, this thing, you talk to Lynn Thompson, the guy that started Cold Steel. He's like one of these guys that has like 5 of these things on his body at all time, on his person. Like he's a guy, and plus a firearm, right? So he's a guy that you don't want to mess with. But that lock, you push down on that. I mean, it's a pretty solid lock. So, it's got that click, right? So, anyways, I guess we're on day 35 of the carnivore thing, and it's interesting what YouTube and Facebook does, like in Meta, like Meta in general, like Instagram and Facebook. It's like throwing this all in my feed. I was talking to Shannon yesterday, and she was talking about how YouTube's feeding her, and that's essentially what happens. Like, because I just showed off this knife, I'm going to have a ton of video about cold steel knives, cold steel reviews, interviews with Lynn Thompson, old cold steel videos, and and carnivore diet videos, right? Even though I'm subscribed to truck drivers, I'm subscribed to religious stuff, I'm subscribed to stoic stuff. It's like no, we're gonna talk about knives and meat. So so yeah, it's so we talked about the carnivore thing for a while. Number one, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a nutritionist, so let's get out of that out of the way. Last night we had pork. What I did is I bought a pork roast and just sliced it into pork steaks. That's cheaper than buying pork steaks. already cut. Um, it's tough to not cook pork. It pork is like steak is easy because boom, medium rare, it's done, right? You know, if you overcook steak, it sucks. Pork though, you kind of have to, like, you have to get it above medium, and that can be a challenge if your heat's not right because then you dry out the pork chop or whatever. So, um, but it was good. We had that last night. I probably overcooked it just a hair. And part of that was because I was doing a stupid video, right, while cooking them. And I need to stop doing that because I've overcooked a few things doing videos like, look at me, I'm on the grill, you know, like an idiot, right? So, um, I think on day 40, I'm going to do like a pro and con video that I'm experiencing. And at first I was going to do it as a live feed, but I think I'm just going to do it as a recorded video, like a rehearsed recorded video. Um, so let's go over the comments here. Bowl of Woods, message retracted. Good morning, sir, says Thomas. CB, what's up? Jose, good morning. I'm fine as wine on a Monday morning. There you go. You like the knife? Yep. Mrs. A is not in the house, but she is in the chat. For very briefly, she's on her way to go do something. I just bought a new skin and knife, razor blade sharp. One of the sharpest knives I have, it's actually one of those removable blade deals that I've used for field dressing a deer. It's actually, like, that thing, you don't want to get in the way of that. And what I'm finding is that knives are horribly overpriced. Like these Spyderco folder knives and Microtech OTF knives. And I was watching this YouTube, it's Knife Center, and they're a website that sells knives, and they had this $800 fixed blade knife. And what's interesting is everybody in the comments was like, this is ridiculous. You shouldn't pay $800 for a fixed blade, especially with that kind of steel, right? And then you go to the website and the knife is sold out. Like, people are like, I don't understand. I guess I don't understand collectors. I mean, yeah, I have a lot of music, but I'm not like going out of my way to pay $100 or $200 for some rare metallic item or anything. I guess that's never been in my blood, right? And I don't understand paying $800 for a knife that you are afraid to use. Like, it's just, you're paying $800 for a decoration, right? That's why I don't have any swords mounted on the wall. As much as I would like a Viking sword, what would I use it for? I mean, yeah, when you run out of bullets in the zombie apocalypse, yeah, it'll be nice to have that sword, but still, it's a wall decoration until that happens, right? And so it's crazy, right? Let's take care of this right now. There, fix that. But collecting knives is kind of a fun hobby. But I'm like I just watched, like, right underneath this $800 knife video, there was a video saying the top 7 knives under $50 at Walmart. I'm like, there's my speed, right? And it's actually Swiss Tech, and there's actually some pretty cool bushcraft stuff in there. Not that I'm out bushcrafting, but whatever. CB, what's up? I think I said hey to you. Yeah, I did. You'll cut your fingers off, kid? Yeah, I know. You're buying knives, I'm on a gun making and buying spree. Well, I don't talk about that as much. I did the last gun show. Actually, there's a gun show this weekend. I forgot. The last gun show I went to, I bought knives. I didn't buy any firearms. Bull of Woods. Day 34 here, gained 2 pounds from last week. So, TJ, what Shannon and I have been talking about is listening to the body, right? And so you got to figure out what you're doing. Like I would keep a journal to see which times you gain weight, which times you don't, um, and just kind of adjust from there. Like I've been doing the same fluctuations. And I think that the drastic weight loss that you see on some testimonials happen if you're like on a high carb diet and then you go immediately to carnivore. That's when you see the big weight drop. Like, you know, I have a friend of mine that he was drinking like 10 sodas a day. And when he dabbled into the keto, he lost 15 pounds right off the bat. And I think that when you switch from one fuel to the other, that's when the rapid weight loss happens. But I think over time, you know, it's not about weight loss as much as weight composition, you know, body composition changing. I think that's what you have to look at as well. So don't let that scale discourage you. Steve, you haven't fired a real gun until you fire a Smith & Wesson 500 mag. What? I will agree with that. I bought all the 500 mag ammo in the southern part of Georgia. FedEx knows me personally. They've been here so much. I'm having my bedroom fortified with a secret room added to store my weapons. The room will act as my safe. Well, it's not such a secret now. Crazy. Good morning, Jeff. Chaser for life. What's up? Yeah, 3K for a pistol nowadays. Nah, I won't do that either. Like Canik has this, I forget what they called it, but it came with it had like this rustic, like apocalypse look, and then it came with an angled knife, self-defense knife, which was kind of cool, and a lighter, a Zippo lighter, which I don't smoke or anything, so I don't know why I would need that other than to start a, you know, fire, you know, to keep warm or whatever. And they wanted like $800 for it, and I couldn't justify getting it. It would have been super cool, but it would have been like a safe queen. It would have, like, I would have hardly ever fired it, you know, and the knife would have stayed in the case, and I don't have that kind of expendable income to do that. Whoa. What is that stands? What is that? What is this that stands before me? Black Sabbath. I have a fully auto mini M14 with a built-in suppressor, 6-hour 860 night vision optics. Man, you're ready to go, Tom. So you're ready to go. Agree with the 500 mag. I have a BFR. It's being built. The HK Steve shot is about 2,200. It was. I mean, look, the HK was pretty fun to fire. I had no idea it was that much, Sterling. I wouldn't even touched it if I had known that. Me and expensive things don't get along, man. I'll never like I bought this because it was like $25, and it's normally a $75 or $100 knife, right? I have spent a little bit money on guitars, but not ridiculous, right? So, I can't own nice things because they get trashed by either me, kids, or pets. It's that simple, right? We don't own nice furniture because, you know, cats. And yeah, so it's just that's just. But that HK was pretty cool. Would I spend $2,200 for a gun? Absolutely not. The last gun I bought was a shotgun, and it was $250. So, what's on today's menu? I don't know. I have a hamburger already cooked and some of those pork chops left. And then I've got brisket thawing that I'll probably do something with. So, other than that, I don't really know what I'm doing. So, I know that my oldest daughter wants to go out for lunch on Monday. So if work's not crazy, I might go have lunch with her. And we'll probably go get Chinese, but I'm going to do just the hibachi, just the pork, beef, um, shrimp cooked on that grill. I'm going to hand them the plate of nothing but meat, and they're going to be like, okay. Now, they'll probably use some seed oils, but, you know. So we'll see how I feel after that. It'll be a good experiment. So it'll be a good test of will, too. Willpower, because I can tear up a Chinese buffet. SST, what's up? For those naysayers on here, Steve, I have my federal firearms permit, so I can own suppressed, fully auto, short barrel weapons, plus the right to transport across state lines. Nice. I thought about getting a federal firearms permit. That's neat. I've got a friend of mine that's got an FFL, and he owns a few autos. He lived in Arkansas, and I was gonna, like, he said, you guys need to come down and shoot, and never made it. Now he lives in New Mexico, and I don't know when's the next time I'm gonna go out west, especially New Mexico. I've got zero family, zero anything in that direction. Sterling says, TJ, it's easy to plateau on the carnivore diet. At that point, fasting exercise works well. Yes, I will agree with that. I notice that when my activity level goes up, when I'm not having to be at the desk all day, then my weight drops a little bit. So I need to get back to the gym is what I need to do. See, I've talked about this human nature, and we know what we need to do, we just don't do it, right? And that's my problem as well. I'm not oblivious to that. I know I need to get back to the gym, especially if I'm paying for it, right? I'm wasting money. I'm wasting money on Netflix, too, because I never watched anything on Netflix. You're making Wagyu chili? Tell them to use butter? Oh, on the Chinese place? Yeah. Have you seen how cheap trucks and trailers are right now? You was right in getting cheaper. Yep. So far, I've been... When it comes to the trucking stuff, people, I predicted that trucks and trailers would go cheap, which is, I missed out on selling my truck too late. And I want to say that the rates and conditions are the lowest I have ever seen this week. This week was brutal. A friend of mine just texted me yesterday morning who owns his own trucking carrier, and he said that he was sent a rate con, they agreed to the rate, and then out of the blue they sent him a new rate con with a different rate, and they said if you don't like it, you don't have to do it. Like, just out of nowhere, on a rate that he already agreed to, they lowered it. And load cancellations all over the place. No leverage. Every load I called on, they wouldn't come up on the price at all. Like, zero. It was crazy. Now, some people probably watch this like, well, I have no problem. Okay, good. If you didn't have a problem, you're doing something right. But all I know is that I got my ass handed to me. And next week is going to be very interesting. So we'll see what Monday brings. But Christmas volumes normally, I didn't use the word should, but normally start at the later part of August. So we'll see what that looks like. This is all in van. Flatbed's taking a dump and Reefer's doing okay, I think, from what I've seen. Cowboy, what's up? You owe us some jam sessions. I do, Marty, you're right. I'm a local trucker from Chicago. I make $1,300 a week. Good. You should be paid more dealing with Chicago traffic, but it's probably just another day for you. So that's good. Grab the acoustic. We need a blues song about diet. 13 after taxes. That's good. Well, Steve, if you had kept your rig, you could buy a fifth wheel and take Mama out west and go shooting and camping. I love mine, Steve. Best thing I've ever bought. No, it was time for that truck to go. I mean, I have thought about buying an older semi. There's a great '97 cab over right down the road from me. I've thought about looking in on it, but I don't know. That would be ridiculous. Um, we're in good old Southwest Missouri, cowboy. Good money for Chicago local. Yep. Sterling says Reno. The foreigners are driving the rates even lower. Never use a semi for an RV. That's like eating where you poop or worse. But I work 60 hours a week. Yeah, that I don't know if I would do the day cab job thing. Because yeah, you're home every night, but are you present every night? I have friends that went local and they end up going back OTR so they could rest. So you work your ass off, cowboy, and kudos to you. My first year in trucking, I made $1,000 a week after taxes. That's good. Sterling and I'm retired. I kept my truck to use as a HDT RV hauler. Pulls that thing like it's bobtailing. Your first 3 to 5 years of trucking, don't let the money psych you out. I make $26 an hour. I dream about getting my hazmat and do fuel hauler. Rates are changing by the minute. I had 2 rate cons that were taken back from the broker because they found someone to haul it for less. Yes, Jose, it's that bad. That's what I'm talking about. And the loads that did have some money on them, they had either a drop trailer or it was a dedicated run that you had to bid on, or it was picks up Friday, doesn't deliver till Wednesday, and it was only like 600 miles, crap like that. And or it picked up at 5 a.m. this morning and needed to be straight through 600 miles away at 1 a.m. the next day in a bad area, crap like that. They weren't even paying $2 a mile to go into Pennsylvania with, hundreds of dollars worth of tolls and all that. It was crazy. It was really like Shannon called me yesterday late and says, "Hey, my deal fell through. Help me find a load." And I couldn't help her. Everything we called on was gone, or the rate just didn't make sense, and you know, it just. I think she found a load. I think I saw something come across the email. I think she did find something, but it's probably for tomorrow. Retired and still driving a truck sounds like an addiction to me. Yeah, Sterling. Thomas Wilson is addicted to trucking. That is true. SST selling my truck in December of 2020 was my single biggest windfall in trucking. Sterling, I was lucky. I did 30 years in the union first and then came out and bought my truck and finished my truck driving my way. I did above and beyond. Yep. Honestly, I would probably get a vintage truck to work on if retirement. That would be good. There's a perfect cab over here in my town, Mr. Wilson, if you want to take a look at it. See, the problem is America doesn't manufacture anything anymore. Everything is shipped here from China. We need to start producing it. I agree with that. But the existing workforce will tell you different. Number one import in the USA is currency. Here's we're gonna get real here, and we're not gonna dive too much into politics, but let me tell you something. Looks like TJ just went live. I guess I bored him. So let me here's my perspective, right? Politics is theater. It's an illusion. And while some presidents have been better for the economy than others, at the end of the day, they are just the puppets. If a common man like me can see that, okay, this would fix things, this would fix things, this is what's missing, this is what needs to be done, the extremely smart people that get in these higher positions in government, did they get there because of their smarts, or did they get there because they're good salespeople, right? They're good salesmen. There have been presidents that we've had that were the best. They had the best speech writers. They had the best talking points, and they convinced you that they were going to be the savior. You know, I remember, in the late or the mid '90s, the way I voted was influenced by someone's speech about poverty and welfare and all that stuff. And it turns out that he was one of the worst presidents for our economy at that time. I do know that things were easier financially from 2016 to 2020. And that person was fought the whole time. Meanwhile, I think there's a bigger picture. And when you look at the hypocrisy of our theater, think about COVID, right? Trump, who's a lot of people's savior. Sorry for the bad English. When you look at how COVID was handled, he was kind of powerless. That was a display of power. Glenn Beck had a really good interview with Adam Curry. Remember Adam Curry from MTV? And it's really an eye-opening experience, because while we're busy arguing about left versus right, the real issues are not being addressed. And it's blame shifting. So imagine a homeless drug addict laying on the ground dying, and you got two people yelling at each other of why that person's lying on the ground. But no one's helping that person. No one's addressing that issue. So guess what? Nothing's being done. It's all theater. Meanwhile, the true issue of why that person's on that ground is not even on people's radar of why that person's there. You know, and the internet's going to make you think that the world's about to end. The internet's going to make you think that, we're all just screwed, right? No matter which direction you go. And I posted a picture on my on one of the channels, I don't know if it's OG, or on the community page, and it literally had the same headline: Biden's going to cause World War III, or Trump's going to cause. I mean, they were both sit there side by side. And that's manipulation. That's a manipulation technique. They want you to be fearful. They want you to be afraid. They want you to be angry. Because emotional people are easily manipulated. It's that simple. And you can go and watch You can watch presidential debates for the last 50 years, and you're going to see the same talking points over and over and over. But yet, has that stuff gotten any better? Has that stuff gone away? Has it magically disappeared? Like Jesus came and said, hey, it's gone, poof. No, that didn't happen, and it won't happen. Politics plays too much into emotions, and it's easy to get caught up in it. You know, there was a representative that came into one of these, you know, the gun legal service event, and man, he kind of had me kind of fired up, like, yeah. Then I was like, whoa, Steve, whoa, chill, man. You don't know anything about this dude. You never even heard of him until today. Calm your ass down. And I did. And it turned out that he wasn't really the best candidate, but he was talking to a bunch of 2A enthusiasts and said, hey, man, let's fire these guys up through emotion, not through action. And the gift of discernment is what the skill of discernment is what's lacking in society today. Uh, 30 years in union trucking, good for you. You must be wealthy. Yeah, he's not bad. Certainly, I have a '74 Stingray that consumes all my extra time for car shows. So working on a semi is not in the picture. I take it to Kenworth, and that's their job. LOL. Money is loud, wealth is quiet. Thomas done things right in his career. Didn't chase imagined freedom or to be your own boss. Not bragging. You can ask Steve, but I am as the answer to your comment. It became that way with hard work and sacrifice. Trucking makes you conservative because you have to work for the money. Cowboy, what makes a lot of truck drivers conservative is that we have a different perspective of the country than most people do. You see the homeless problem, you see the drug problem, you see the crime problem, you see where policies are failing, and we're affected. You know, the laws. You know, you got these towns that put all these no truck signs, but then bitch when they don't get their deliveries. You know, it's and so I do believe that. I have seen people go more conservative once they start driving a truck because your perspective of the country changes. I know it did for me. It was like, wow, it really opened my eyes. Now, what was crazy is I didn't know how bad my town had gotten with all of this until I was home. I was like, wow, this is crazy. And you know, that's true, Sterling. I had Jeffrey like and Steve to listen to, different personality and styles. David, morning. Hope you're all well. Totally true, Cowboy. What a strange game. Seems the only winning move is not to play. More games. There you go, SSD. Cool Truckin', what's up? Dave Evers, saying hi to Sterling. So that's why I don't get caught up in the political comments. You know, when everybody was going off about the Olympics, I saw it for what it really is, and I felt no need to comment on it because my comment's not going to change anybody's mind. I'm not going to. You know, Mark Manson said something pretty brilliant this morning. He said that one of the biggest misconceptions in our lives is that people care about what we think. Nobody cares, right? Nobody cares. They're not thinking about you after you embarrass yourself, or like if I do a bad video, like if I embarrass myself to this video, I could dwell on it, but you know what? In the billions of videos that are out there, no one cares, right? Oh, you had a booger on your face or whatever. And at the end of the day, you're not most of these videos talking one political event over another is they're just echo chambers. And then you're going to find the videos with the real truth that no one's talking about, like truth that makes you go, why isn't everybody talking about this? Because the truth, people want to bury the truth. And it's interesting to watch Facebook and watch these people just kind of dwell on one little thing about one thing, like okay, take the Olympics for example. You have people that said that they were mimicking in the ceremony, the pre Olympic ceremony, mimicking the Last Supper. Okay, and I have anti-Christian friends that are posting on, look how stupid the Christians are. They don't even realize that that's not what this is about. And then when the promoter said, oops, we messed up, it was about that, then these guys are like, well, it's only because the Christians rip off this thing and this thing and this thing. It's like, why are you so upset? Why do you need to use the Jake break in the middle of town? But why are you so upset about somebody being upset? Meanwhile, I'm looking at the ceremony as it was just a horrible experience. Had nothing to do with Olympics. Now, the Gojira part was cool. But beyond that, you guys are angry about all the wrong things. You know, meanwhile the athletes show up. There's no AC in this Olympic village that they spent billions of dollars to make. And you have athletes sleeping outside because that's the only way they can get relief. The power went out and they can't get any real food because they're trying to push this vegan propaganda. No one's talking about that. Hey, guess what? Athletes need protein. They need meat. They don't need your Beyond Burger stuff's not going to help them win gold medals, right? And so the Olympics originally is about unity. It's about unifying all these countries for one common cause, and all it did was create more division. No one's talking about that. And I don't need to scream on Facebook about it. I don't need to get mad at the people that are mad at the Christians for getting mad at the ceremony. Was it sacrilegious? Absolutely. But look, when someone's doing bad things, they will flaunt it. I know people that get up on YouTube, they say bad things about everybody, and they flaunt, they brag about, oh, I talk bad about so and so. Evil brags in the face of its opponent. It brags and it laughs. But it only works if you're easily offended. It only works if you become over emotional. You can have emotions, you just have to have control of them. How many people have died because of rage? Road rage, right? I personally think that all good drivers should start in the LTL business, humping freight, then yard jockey, the city, and then line haul. The knowledge and experience that they bring to the owner operator. That is absolutely. I'll agree with that. We convinced when I was a company driver doing training. We convinced that they needed a 2-week program with the city drivers, so they can learn that stuff, that kind of work. We saw Adam Carolla last night. Great comedy show. Cool. Nice. Embrace your cringe. My biggest regret was going to university. I wish I got in trucking earlier. The truth is that the trades make good money is if you'll work. Yeah, that's true. Thought without action is just mental impatience. My last 4 years, I made more than my college-educated son and master's degree daughter-in-law, and it was cheaper too, right? If liberals were merely stupid, the law of probability would dictate that at least some of their decisions would serve America's interests, says Joseph McCarthy. No regret. I have a bachelor's in computer science. If I get tired of trucking, I can middle management easily, as long as nobody sees my YouTube channel. Whoa. Leave the war for the young. Middle age pays for it. Old people arrange it. Yep, that's pretty much what it is. And I mean, look at the history of World War One, and that was a huge ego battle. Millions of people died over an ego battle. I highly recommend the movie All Along the Western Front on Netflix, the made for Netflix one. That is really good. And it shows you just the incompetence and arrogance of the leaders that were in this war and how many people they killed. So, only two sides in politics, stupid or liar, right? I did 1 year of college. I had to stop, work more freight docks for the money back when you can arrange the time. Like, not like that. Not like not. Freight has been good. The industry's been good to me and still is. Looking back at my career, I think there are things that I don't know. I was pretty blessed with a good career. I had 6 years of OTR with a company, and it was a light OTR. Like occasionally you go out to Salt Lake, occasionally once I went out to California, occasionally go out to Phoenix, but every every week I was going out to Pennsylvania and back. Um, for the most part, I was home every other weekend on average, home for every holiday. And I drove enough of the country that I could see and experience all of it and get a good feel of what works and what doesn't. So when I bought my first truck, that was back when you can buy a truck for 30 grand and make more money than a company driver. It was good. It was only myself that kept me from being the best that I could be. Nowadays, you can be the best you can be, and the industry will still stomp on you and punch you in the face. And you know, you know, a friend of mine just got a $6,000 repair bill, just out of nowhere, out of the blue, and not to mention the lost time for the next 2 weeks, plus the load he lost. The two loads he lost under in that situation, it's a lot of money. And when you think of the colossal waste, I'm just like, wow. So, my son has talked about possibly becoming a driver, but I said if you can find a way to get your CDL and not be OTR and work locally in the beginning, I think that, I'll support that. But to go to trucking school and go work for Swift or Knight or something like that, no, don't do that. No. Uh-uh. Yeah. Well, don't be a spoiler, cowboy. Certainly, you taking off, starting my day. You kids behave. Good deal. What I meant to say is thought without action is mental impotence. Yes. Um, when shit hits the fan, would you consider a cannibal diet? No. No. Because people are nasty. Ugh. Don't tell them what kind of stuff you're getting into. Look, Mother Nature, carnivores usually don't eat other carnivores. Um, like I believe lions will kill a hyena, but they won't eat the hyena unless there's no other food. Then they resort to that, but that's still not cannibalism. Um, but no, I couldn't do it. There's like The Walking Dead. There's like that whole section where they run into these cannibals. The guy wakes up with his leg gone, that kind of stuff, and like that would be weird. Like that soccer team you know that crashed in the Arctic and they had to eat each other just to survive, and then we got the oh the Donner Donner Pass story. That's kind of brutal. Well, see, that's cost being a truck owner. Always have bare minimum for an engine swap in the bank and reserve. How many plan that way today, Steve? No, hardly anybody does. Now, this driver, he's handling this $6,000 like a champ. He's good to go. But I know people that own a truck and they can't even afford a tire repair. So, that's not the way to go. I've said that over and over to the point that I just won't say it anymore. It's common sense. And people get mad when I say things like that. But it's true. I wouldn't have bought a truck if I couldn't afford a tire repair. So. Donner Pass, yes, thank you. I think we think about crap hitting the fan more often today than we did maybe 100 years ago when we actually lived it. I think there's a lot of skills, like bushcraft skills, that have been lost. So I try to educate myself on that kind of stuff. I don't want to be... Have you guys seen that Obama movie on Netflix? I can't remember the name, but it was recent. It's got Julia Child. No, I forget who's all in it, but it's basically about these weird things going on, and the prepper guy is the weird Republican dude, and this family is just absolutely helpless because the man is spineless in this family. The kids are full of anxiety, and the mom is well, I mean, she's the man of the house, so she's kind of like pro-feminist, hates everybody, and they literally have zero skills on how to survive. Meanwhile, the bad guy was the guy that has all the supplies, all the food, all the skills, all the knowledge. It's I don't want to be I want to be on the correct side of that. Remember, the Donner Party didn't turn back because the women voted in the decision against going back to the fort. Buy guns and ammo, Steve. It's for when it hits the fan. Got to protect your family, your food supplies. Yeah. One of the political candidates is threatening 2A stuff, which they always do. So... I think I'm okay in that respect. I probably could use some more ammo. In fact, I'm going to Bass Pro today, actually. So, there's a knife I have that needs to be sharpened. Plus, I like looking around there. I think I bore my wife when I go in there, so I might. She's out gallivanting today. She's doing a work-related thing this morning, and she'll be off to lunch with my daughter and her friends, so like a girls' day thing. So I've got to occupy my time. I got to go by Lowe's and pick up a few things, and I took my lawnmower to the John Deere place yesterday. That was fun, and that'll be expensive. So, um, which is okay. We'll be all right. Um, I have thought about getting a Glock, Thomas Wilson, but because I don't own one, but I've never shot one either. I don't think so. Um, Reliability, I guess. Check out Georgia Firearms Wholesale Ammunition. I buy all my 5.56, 7.62, and 357, 45 there by bulk quantities. The problem with buying ammo online is it's easily traceable. You know, go to the ATM, get cash, and I'm sure you're on some watch list because I think. Let me see if I can find the comment. Seemed like I bought 10K in weapons in the last 30 days, 5K in ammo. You're on a watch list, dude. That's all I gotta say, man. Uh, you're on a watch list. Snorelord needs a revolver. You can thank me later. I have one. I actually have a little 38 snub. So that was actually the first pistol I bought. It was bought off a friend of mine, a guy that was getting off the road, retiring, and he's like, "Hey, I'll give you this for $100." I'm like, "Okay." And I can't hit the side of a barn with that thing, but that's not what it's meant for. So I did buy at the last gun show. I did buy. You know what? That's what I might do today. That's you guys is I might go to the gun show. There's one in town today. Um, I did buy a holster for that revolver. Now I do kind of want a 22 revolver, and I have looked at the Taurus's revolvers, but yeah. My dad was U.S. Marine. He's got like 50 guns. My dad was a Marine, and I think he owned about 5 guns, and they're all long rifles. Now I remember as a kid he had a pistol. Um, he was still in the service at the time. Obviously, it was Marine issue, but I don't know whatever happened to that. I wish I knew what happened to that. I think that'd be neat to have. Yeah, it is. I don't carry it though. Well, the price I pay for Fed permit is all my weapons had to be listed. Yes, I'm on the list as soon as I put an app in for permit. It's okay. I have no problem being registered. Yeah, that's a lot of fear mongering, right? But no, it's just kind of funny. I want to give you crap, Thomas. Um, yeah, I have two. Well, one's technically not a shotgun. I have the Remington 870 20 gauge tactical, the 14-inch, and then I bought it's a little bit longer, but it's got an actual stock. The other one's got like a bird stock. I wish I could show it, but it's live YouTube and they hate that. So um we've shot that once. We went out shooting with that once, the bird stock. The new one that I just got I haven't shot yet, but it's got a really good tactical stock, and it's also good. I think it's a 16-inch. So but they're both pump action, so I don't have like a semi-auto shotgun. Not to mention, people say shotguns are great for home defense, but man, get a home invasion going on, you're gonna go deaf. My dad was also Chicago police. I love him, but he's a gun nut. Define gun nut. I wouldn't mind, I wouldn't mind, like, like a semi-auto shotgun, but problem is there's only one range within a 30-mile distance here that we can go shooting those, and it's always crowded. It's an unmanned place, and it, you know, other than going out to my in-laws' house, you know, there's really no place to shoot shotgun. I bought several Benelli and Berettas. My favorite is Beretta 1301 Tactical Suite. I lost all my guns on offshore boating. Offshore, not just a boating accident. I try not to say that. I mean, I used to joke about that, but at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't want to give in to the fear mongering. You know, you got half the people that say that they lost an accident, the other half say, "Pride out of my cold dead hands." I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. Like, I'm not going to brag about everything I have, but at the same time, you should know that I got something, right? Unregistered boating accident. My Benelli's for duck and quail hunting. I have a friend of mine who lives up in the Kansas City area who's invited me to go duck hunting with him sometime, and I've never taken him up on it yet. I'm such a FUD, currently getting ready for hunting traditional muzzleloader season. There you go. I know, David. I was just kind of, it's just kind of funny because I have a couple of friends that, dude, you need to say that every single time. I'm like, no, I don't. Like government's not dumb. Google's not dumb, you know, right? But it's fine, David. I wasn't giving you crap. I was just kind of funny. It's just what made me think of it. Because I have a friend that's like really bad about that. Like, you shouldn't admit anything. I'm like, maybe you shouldn't be so paranoid. I think there are bigger fish to fry than some guy like me who's got like 1.5 firearms. So, I think the best overall cheap defense weapon is something like a SKS, SK5, or is that SKS? SKS. Well, I don't know anything about that. See, that's the thing. I'm not like I'm, okay. So let me. When I got into the BMX thing, I didn't know anything. I didn't know everything about everything, right? When I got into music, I didn't know everything about everything. Like, you got the gear nerds that own 20 different amps and they can tell you about every different amp. I was never that guy. Less than 5 years ago, I couldn't tell you the difference between a 22 and a 45. Couldn't tell you. Now I've got a little bit of knowledge, but I'm still not a gearhead. Like, a lot of these people are like, oh, I own this, da da da, SK, this, and, you know, MT2 and 3, 4, and I got the Taurus G2, this and that. You know, I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And so Thomas goes over my head all the time. And because I'm not entrenched in it, and granted, there was a time where that's all YouTube was feeding me. And on this channel here, my most popular videos are the ones me talking about holsters and knives. So there's something to that. There's too many things picking at my brain. There's too many things. You know, you got the carnivore thing, you got the firearm thing, you got the knife thing, you've got the stoic thing, you've got the music thing, you've got the social thing, you've got the political thing, and YouTube doesn't know what to do with this channel, right? Like, even this one, we've talked about knives, we've talked about carnivore, we've talked about trucking, we've talked about firearms, we've talked about politics, and YouTube still is like, what do you give up? Here's your 10 subs for today. You know, I need more channels, right? Taking my dad's old side lock percussion 54 Thompson Center New Englander out. See, I have no idea what any of that means. I'm a buy once, cry once person. David Thomas said, he's asking Thomas, what do you think the best semi-auto shotgun is for the money? Jeff's doing okay. He still is RV. He's been extremely busy. He was in this chat earlier. So, yeah, it's a muzzle loader. I got that. But, like, I kind of want to buy a crossbow. I kind of want to get a, what else do I want? I wouldn't mind having a semi-auto shotgun. I know they're impractical, but I wouldn't mind a 1911 either. But, what am I going to do? Cowboy subscribe. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I mean, look, I could easily be like Thomas Wilson, but it would be maxing out credit cards, not spending my hard-earned cash on a lot of stuff. If I go into Bass Pro, or if I go into Academy, or if I go into go to the gun show today, which I'm thinking about doing. Actually, I'm seriously thinking about doing that. Archery season coming soon. I need to realign. See, realign the bow. Yep. You guys have seen Archery Target out here in some of my videos. We bought that. I bought that plus like a practice bow for my wife and daughter because they were getting into archery for a second. And then I bought a regular bow at a yard sale. So I guess when I run out of ammo and I need to hunt, I've got that. But I don't have any arrows. We've got the practice arrows. Like, you know, they're like a dull point. They're like as dull as this point here, right? Really can't do any damage. So, and you have to be careful with arrows because if you miss a target, well, it's going into a car lot next door, or it's going into some poison ivy that you don't want to go and get it. Buy a longbow and a quill and longbow and look like I belong in Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I could do that. But all right, we've been at this for an hour, guys. That's my limit. So any other comments, questions, let me know. And Thomas, why don't you fly in Springfield real quick and we'll go to the gun show. David, I'm in the Berettas right now. I have a lot of shotguns. I absolutely love my Beretta. 13-1 for hunting would be Benelli Supernova 12 gauge. You know, ironically, you're not allowed to conceal carry inside the gun show. Isn't that silly? All right, Cowboy, thanks for coming in. Thanks for your subscription. Thank you for all of you hanging out with me on this Saturday morning. Well, we have a load from Florida to Colorado Monday pickup, but rate is AMG. What's AMG stand for? Good luck going to Colorado, man. Man. Even I was looking, like the in and out ratios for Florida were so bad last week, and part of it's watermelon season's done, but they were so bad last week that I was seeing like $1.40 to go to Colorado out of Florida. Like there was like 1,600 loads going in on the DAT board and like 100 coming out. It was crazy. I'm gonna resub to the other channel, so look for me. Okay, Thomas. I have not been as adamant about my live feeds on that one here lately, and it's affected the channel a little bit. So YouTube wants you to be consistent and wants you hammering all the time because they want to know what to feed, and part of it's my content. People are sick of looking at the low boards, and I really don't keep up with the trucking news as much as like someone like Asia Mai or some of the others. And I'm not claiming to be any kind of coach or teacher or anything. So that affects the views. And then I'm also not in the truck. The few YouTube shorts I did when I was in my truck, those did tremendously good. So, but YouTube's funny. I try not to get too obsessed in it. It can be overwhelming. There are times when I just shut the notifications off on my phones and be done with it. Like, nope. You got to create boundaries, especially when you do what I do. You know, there's a point where I can only talk to so many people griping about the rates when I'm done. Well, thank you, Thomas. I appreciate that. But it's gotten to the point where I'm repeating over and over the same things, and people just aren't getting it. So I don't know how good of a teacher I am, really. Either that or people don't want to hear the message. One or the other. It's kind of like the carnivore thing. People just don't want to hear the message. They don't want to be told that what they're eating is poison. So I do look for the newbies. We've got a few newbies on the channel, and they've embraced it, and they've valued it. Um, so yeah. But anyways, I might go to the gun show. Give me a thumbs up if you think I go to the gun show. Give me a super chat if you think I should spend money at the gun show. I forgot that was this weekend. Today's the 10th, right? Today's the 10th? Yeah. We get a gun show here once every 3 months, I think. It's the SKS. You know, they go around all around Missouri. One weekend's in Kansas City. One weekend is in Branson. Another weekend's in St. Louis. Another weekend's in Nixa. Another weekend it's in Joplin. You know, that kind of thing. So, SST. You know why it worked for you, Thomas Wilson? Do you know why my words and Jeff words work for you? Because you listened to them. You acted upon them. And it served you well. My name is nobody. Give me a thumbs up. What should I get? Well, I guess that would depend on what the super chat is. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'll probably do a recorded video for my carnivore journey today. I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about, but we'll figure it out. There's plenty to talk about, but it's hard to pinpoint what I want to talk about. Okay, cool. I'm working on my garage Mahal today. Once it's finished, I'll send pic. Thank you. 357 Magnum? Yeah. I don't know about that. Everything. Nah. I probably won't spend. I'll probably buy a stupid knife that I don't need. That's probably what I'm going to do. So, man, that bird's ticked off, man. He's like, you need to shut the hell up, damn YouTuber. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Peace. See if I knew how to end this.